Have you realized that your career is actually a 40-year voyage? And if you're like me, well, you're probably only halfway through it. How then can you make the rest of your journey even more meaningful? We all change over time. What was important to us 10 years ago, like maybe money, job titles, may not be our top priority today. In fact, would what we enjoy today be of any value to us 10 years from now? So, are we chasing our current dreams at the expense of future goals? We need to review our past, reflect upon our present, and then create the future we want. We need to examine how things like financial security, career satisfaction, personal relationships factor into our life and how it should drive our career strategy.
So, instead of blindly putting in the hours of hard work every day, come, find out how you can achieve lasting career success and learn how to live a meaningful life through your career. Click the link to find out now.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone on LinkedIn, and welcome to another Friday morning show with Adrian and Yan. This is Adrian, and I'm the CEO, founder of Career Agility International, and I want to welcome everyone here to our Career Success Show. Good morning, Yan. How are you this morning?
Good morning and happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a wonderful morning. The weather's been great this whole week, and I'm looking forward to the weekend because it was a wet and crazy weekend last week, and I didn't manage to cycle. So this weekend, let's hope it's dry enough for me to hit the road.
And you know what I'm excited about? The fact that I don't have to wake up super early next week.
Because
it's the school holidays.
Yeah, me too.
You forgot.
Yeah, but I still got to wake up and walk. Yeah, I know. I still got to wake up and walk the dog. So, oh well.
Okay,
it's
well,
either the kids or the dog.
Your dog.
Yeah, that's my dog. So it's been an
Lots happening.
eventful week. Lots happening. And today, we want to talk about the 5 possible reasons why you aren't getting that promotion. And but before we go there, we thought it might be interesting to talk about what the latest thing is in the news, because in the past week, there were a couple of announcements, and one of them was the big one, which is about some changes to the employment rules. So let's look at headline news. Okay, headline news coming up. Good morning, everyone. So if you look at headline news this morning, we're going to run through a couple of interesting things. You can see very clearly here. The biggest one and the biggest news that they have is that Singapore government has introduced a super ONE pass for those who are earning more than 30,000 a month.
Well, it seems like it's really focused at the highest end of the talent spectrum. So I don't know if it's going to make much difference where it really counts, where the majority of the people. So I'm just wondering, I get it that they want to attract like the top talent, or we want to attract top talent. Just wondering whether or not that's going to also have a positive effect down the line.
Yeah, but what's really interesting is that for me, it's not just the rule here, but I'm hearing a lot of people in the market complaining, whining, and groaning about the Singapore government for inviting foreign talent in. And I'm quite philosophical about it. If you're if for anything else, inviting these top tier people in is giving more competition to other foreigners in Singapore as well who are earning 30,000. So more competition is good, but the way I see it, you don't really need a policy like this to invite people in, because the biggest benefit of coming to Singapore is it's sunny. Singapore is such a lovely place. So come.
Yes, and it's safe and everything works, and the the infrastructure is just amazing. And as you know, I had a little bit of an emergency not too long ago, and the water pipe in front of my place burst. The response was so quick. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it is, right?
Congratulations. Good work. Yes, very
Yeah,
impressed.
and the coolest thing as well is that Singapore is such a wonderful low tax rate compared to all the Scandinavian countries, Australia, even in Europe. So that's one of the biggest incentives for non-Singaporeans to come in.
Yeah, I just want to comment a little bit on the volatility that I've noticed this last week. We've heard, obviously, this is a piece of good news, where we're doing something to ease talent crunch, for example. But there's also some rumblings around a lot of organizations restructuring. Some of them making some massive movements in terms of their headcount, removing certain pieces and adding other pieces. So there's been a lot of volatility, and I think our listeners probably agree that it's really stressful just observing all the moving and the shaking.
Yeah. And then you're right, yeah, and that's causing a lot of uncertainty in the market. In the past week, we've been getting a lot of calls from individuals who are concerned about job security, who are concerned about their career security in the company. So, and we've been very busy entertaining these calls and helping. So, if you're in such a situation where you see the writings on the wall, where there might be changes coming up or things that you're just not so sure how to decipher, come talk to us.
Yeah. Especially if you are thinking of getting promoted, or you're thinking, gosh, after 2 years of standstill with my current employer, and potentially now budgets are being lifted, projects are going online, is there some way that I can potentially put my hand up to get that promotion that I've been eyeing?
Yeah, and that leads on to our topic for the week. We've had lots of interesting individuals who have been coming and talking to us about, how do I get promoted? I mean, they've really landed the job and they are asking, how do I get promoted? So that's why this week we wanted to spend a bit more time talking about what can you do to get promoted, or what aren't you doing enough of that's stalling your promotional prospects?
Did you just say when you land and now you're thinking about promotion? So here's a
Yeah,
question, Adrian. Like between landing a job, starting one, and when's a good time do you think that I should be looking for a promotion within the same
Right
domain?
away, right away. The moment you land there, you should be looking at the landscape. Start looking who the key chess players are. Who are the movers, who are the shakers, and then start planning your moves ahead, because it's a
Yes.
process and you have to start planning. Don't you think so?
Yeah. Again, the keyword here being planning, not asking. So
I
that's
want
not
a man
expectation.
listening to me now.
Right? It's not an expectation that, oh, I got the job. Now I'm in charge of
Mhm.
sales, for example. Now, how do I get my boss's job?
Yeah,
So when can I get my boss's job? I think that's sometimes the question they're all asking, right? So the planning starts right away. Planning and thinking and analyzing, yes, and putting
that's
all of
right.
your chess pieces in place.
So for today, we're going to talk about the 5 possible reasons why you didn't get that promotion. You thought it was a shoo-in for yourself, and what can you do about it? So once again, if you've just joined us, my name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO, founder of Career Agility International. And together with me is Yen, our executive director and co-founder. And together we are Career Agility International. And at Career Agility International, we are a 5-year-old startup. Okay, we're not a startup anymore. Okay, we are established in the market, and we help individuals like yourself to achieve career success. We help you to get the career clarity needed so that you know where you're going to with more confidence. And that's what we do.
Yes.
If you have any career questions, email us info@careeragility.org. Our teams are always on the standby to help you out with your career situations.
Yep. The thing is, what I guess the most common theme is that the market being as volatile as it is, we've heard of stories where someone got the job and then the boss left within a month, or there's been some changes upstairs, and then suddenly the job that you were hired for is no longer the same. It's not the same job you interviewed for. So there's with all that ambiguity, we give our clients a sense of how to manage, and I guess, like our name, we give you agility, or at least the
Yes,
support to be more agile.
Yeah, that's what we love doing, and that's what we're really good at. So if you're in a career situation right now, just reach out to us. We're always happy to have that discussion. So today we're talking about the 5 possible reasons why you're possibly not getting promotion, and I can imagine that sometimes you might feel a bit frustrated, might feel a bit disappointed. So, what's the number one reason?
You didn't ask for it. I mean, your bosses didn't know you wanted it, especially if they think you're happy where you are and you're doing very well. In fact, they're probably very happy to keep you right there because you're a star performer. And if they promote you, then who's going to do your job?
That's true. And also if you've been complaining about the workload, this is so difficult, there's so much. And sometimes people complain about the workload to try and impress their bosses that they're doing a lot. But when you're complaining about the workload, no, I gotta stay back late today, I got this, I've got that, I'm doing Bobby's work, or Cynthia took an MC again and I'm doing. And if you're complaining so much, the boss thinks, hey, maybe you're not ready. Maybe you're just not wanting to get promoted because you obviously can't even handle your own workload now.
Maybe we should add a number to that for you complain too much.
You
didn't get the promotion, not because you didn't ask, but because you complained.
Yeah, and you complain, and we sometimes don't realize that when we complain, people are observing it through different lens and
Yes.
thinking that you might be trying to highlight that you are doing extra work, and but the bosses look at you and they go like, oh, another whiner, it means you can't handle it. Why should I give you more work? Which is what a promotion basically is, more work.
But I think for this point specifically, I'm addressing our listeners who are overly modest. The quiet achievers, the kind that would just hunker down and do the work and stay longer. And when asked for an opinion, they'll go, no, everything's fine. So if you're of that sort, the quiet achievers, you really need to speak up and indicate an interest for acceleration or for progression, please.
And especially if you're an introvert, right? And,
but don't use that as an excuse.
It's not there shouldn't be an excuse, but and that's why there are ways that you can indicate for it. At our career mastery program, which we run for our high achieving clients, we show them ways in which you can indicate your interest for promotion without looking desperate. Very strategically, how to drop hints, and it is an important skill to have, because seriously, if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it.
Yep. You have to keep asking, because if they don't know you want it, they're not going to even think about you when they are considering the shortlist.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why sometimes people don't ask for the promotion is because they think, I've been here long enough, it's going to be my turn already, so they just wait.
Is that such a thing?
Anyway, I've been here for 4 years in the same role, and I'm the most senior person here. Therefore, it should be mine, so I'm just waiting. I don't have to ask for it. And then someone else comes up.
I recognize that. You know how for most of us modest types, and I'll put myself in that category, it's about me doing the good job, and then you as the boss, you should be asking me how I'm doing. You should be initiating the conversation because you're my boss, and you should be coming out and asking me if I want to progress. That's your job. Unfortunately, guys,
it's your job, right? So that's why one of the main things we always say, is you have to be assertive. Okay, you have to also display certain sets of behaviors that indicate and tastefully shout out that, hey, I want that job, or even be bold enough to tell your boss, I want your job. Okay, without making you feel threatened.
We have this sense that perhaps the executives are being slightly entitled, or there's an expectation, and I've learned long ago that when you have expectations, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Communicate. You have to communicate.
That is that's right.
Easier said than done.
That
was in the details. That was in the details. So come talk to us if you are figuring out ways to ask or ways to drop hints, especially if it's it has to be relevant to your context as well as your personality.
That's true. And one of the other thing, part two, is a lot of times you don't get a promotion, but the other guy gets the promotion. Your rival, your competitor, the guy you don't like, your frenemy, you're the guy you steal his food from the office pantry, even though the yogurt is labeled with his name. Okay, that's a bit too specific.
Sounds like something you did.
That's too specific. So anyway, this guy, he's probably got stronger networks than you. And I'm not saying bigger networks, no, but he's got stronger networks than you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not necessarily a gender thing. So again, I'm trying very hard to be gender neutral here, and it's a learning, it's a progress. I'm doing my best. Okay, so it's not a guy thing. Okay, the other person has stronger networks, and when we say stronger networks, it just refers to the networks that make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're
And
not part of that.
you're not part of it. And one thing I remember, when I was in Shell, one thing I learned from my boss, my very, very first boss, okay, whenever his boss flew in from London or flew in from anywhere else, whoever his boss was, he would make it an effort to drive to the airport, pick him up, and to the office or to the hotel. And then he's got a chance to have coffee
Have
or lunch,
conversation.
conversation on the flight in, on the drive back. And I think that's
Yeah.
amazing skill to have, because then you're picking up, there's a lot of goodwill being generated, right? But B, you're picking up a lot
Yeah.
of news in a relaxed state.
Yes, and thank you for sharing that with our listeners. That's one of our secrets of success. You know,
Yes.
catching. It's a networking
Mm.
example. It's an
Hmm.
effective one, and that's a really really good advice. We have a
Yeah.
comment. One of our listeners is asking. So we have some cases where a promotion may not result in a bigger salary, because if someone asks for a promotion, and they don't get the money, because they get the job title but no increase. What can they do? Comments, Adrian?
Uh, well, I think it's good for your career anyway. So I would say just go for it. Sometimes titles
Same.
are titles are titles. So there are strategies about it. There are strategies on how to frame it when you have a discussion with your headhunter or hiring manager. Why was there an increase in title or job scope but no increase in salary? And if you answer it incorrectly, it does sound a bit odd. So come if you're in such a situation, come talk to us. But we do train our clients on how to address those things, because those things could trip you up if you're not careful, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the general answer to this comment, my opinion is that any increase in scope,
Hmm.
where it's manageable, obviously, right? I mean, if you're going to be doing two people's work, that's a very different story. And that's not the question. The question here is that you get this promotion. Chances
Hmm.
are it's a bigger responsibility, but still one person's job.
Hmm.
And then you don't really get the increase in money. And I agree with Adrian. I think you should go for it, because with a bigger title and a mandate and a larger responsibility, accountability, you get more things done, and there's progression.
Hmm.
After a bit of progression, the money will come. I guarantee it. But again, I'm just generalizing.
And there are strategies involved, lah. So
Yes.
if you're in such a situation, it's also very contextual, because just
Yes.
because I give you your colleague's work, is that a promotion? Is that progression?
No,
That
that's
you're
not.
doing more of the
That's
same
not.
stuff, and you're doing his
No.
work,
Yeah.
so while he goes off on his MBA program, and because he's the
Yeah.
boss's pet. So
Yeah. That's a great
there are
story. No, that's not promotion. So what does constitute promotion, right?
Yeah, maybe we should do that for a future episode. But our clients definitely they understand our thinking models on career progression and promotion. So
And
but
horror
back to the
stories.
topic, horror stories, right? But back to the topic, a lot of times. The reason why the other person got promoted and not you is because he's got a better and stronger network. And that's one of the important things you need to probably sit down and figure out. How do I then improve my network? Who do I improve my network with? And who do I have the brown nose to get a promotion?
If you're unfamiliar with the term, please look it up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if there is a certain degree of hobnobbing, of getting on their radar tastefully, okay, and
Let's use
oh,
the word establishing trust and nurturing networks,
yes, correct.
nurturing relationships. Yes.
So so that's why if for us, we are always very concerned. We always say that you have to invest in your network. You have to invest in your career. You got to invest in your career moves. That's why a lot of clients come talk to us, because the office environment, relationships are getting trickier and more complex. So sometimes what
That's
you
why
need is
they call it, right? They call it a
uh,
corporate jungle.
yeah. You never know when some poison dart's gonna hit you. In the neck. Oh, it got me. What? You know, the coffee lady just sabotaged my career. So
And yes. So you were saying that the relationships are indeed very, very complex today. Very complex in the corporate setting.
yeah, and one of the biggest reasons as well that people sometimes your bosses don't promote you is because they think you're not ready, skill set
Yeah.
wise. What do you think, Ian?
Yes, because perhaps you haven't done it for enough years, or there's something else that's a bit of a gap. And it's entirely subjective. So to our listeners out there, if you feel you're ready, but you know how when it's entirely subjective when your bosses happen to look at you and they spot you doing something that's questionable, and then they define your entire persona based on that one incident. It's entirely unfair. But it is what it is. So they think you're not ready based on some subjective eval.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Maybe someone said something. Right? You said something to somebody and then they quoted you,
yeah,
and then your boss goes, "What?"
yeah. Or there's a huge presentation to a client and you botch it up. And then the boss is there, the boss observes, and the boss says, yeah, well, this is not ready for it, not ready for this role yet. So what you can do about it is to realize that you're being watched all the time.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's scary, it's not. Yeah. When we talk to our clients, they go like, "Gosh, that sounds like a lot of work." Yes, it is.
It is. It is. Getting promoted is not an entitlement. You got to work for it. But
Yes.
one of the things as well is that, but what very importantly, what we always tell our clients is you have to have that. You have to be good at what you do. You know, if you're not ready, if you're not good for, it's like I've been watching a lot of pilot movies, pilot TV shows lately. Unfortunately, they're all about air crashes. But it's all about when you see the first officer, the flight engineer, first officer, and the captain. You really have to be really, really ready to be in the captain's seat, because if you're not exhibiting that you can fly the plane, land the plane, and make command leadership decisions, no one's gonna entrust the whole plane to you, right? So
Yeah.
you have to have that level of expertise, which is important.
And don't do silly things that are career limiting, like parking in your boss's lot. Or I mean, there are some
or,
things that you never
or,
know.
or,
Don't
or, or
steal your
taking your
boss's lunch.
boss's yeah, don't take your boss's yogurt in the fridge. You're caught eating your boss's yogurt. It's like, hey, where's my yogurt? Oh, oops. So,
So watch out for career
uh,
limiting moves as well. That's all
yeah,
part of the not ready. Yeah.
yeah, it's all part of it. So a lot of
Yeah.
times, it's about impression management, and I think if you're not careful, you could sabotage your own career, and which brings us on to the next topic which we have. The next reason why you're possibly not getting that promotion. So once again, for those of you who just joined us, my name is Adrian. I'm the CEO of Career Agility International, and Jens, our executive director. And today, we are talking about the 5 reasons why you might not have gotten that promotion, or you might have missed getting that promotion. So you're not inspiring confidence.
This
What?
point
What?
is
What?
very relevant to
Yeah.
your
What do you
story
think?
earlier on, that story you were telling earlier about the flight captain, the first officer. So you have to inspire confidence, and that sometimes is this very vague and subjective element called leadership, or at least, but leadership has often been misconstrued as someone who directs or someone who makes decisions. No, it's much more than that. Inspiring confidence requires influence,
Yeah.
knowledge. There's so much more. Yeah. So
Yeah.
come talk to us if you want to figure it out.
Yeah, because I think so. So you have to inspire confidence, like the old story about the doctor, the surgeon going up to the patient and he says, "Don't worry, Brian. It's
Yes.
going to be a simple operation. Everything's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. I've done it many times before. It's a standard procedure. It'll be okay." And then the patient says, "But my name's not Brian. It's Mike." I say, "No, I'm Brian. I'm Brian." So yeah,
So the
to be
surgeon's like talking to
surgeons,
himself.
assuring himself it's going to go well. That's one surgeon I'm not going to go to. Okay, so you have to inspire confidence.
It's the same the last time I did a root canal, and the dentist just told me everything that could go wrong. It was scary because she wanted the liability to be mine and not hers, but still, gosh,
It could result in abnormal team structure. Oh goodness, I'm get out of there.
So
But yeah, you're
many,
right. It's
so
a
many things.
liability. It's a liability issue, so they try to get out of the way. But the fact is, no, if you're not inspiring confidence, and especially if you're in the office and you're not having that executive presence, and you're not carrying yourself as a leader should, why would someone want to entrust the whole business to you? So that's why
Mm.
our clients will come to us for our career mastery programs. There's one whole topic on executive presence, how to communicate with confidence, how to inspire trust, how to lead and carry yourself so that people actually have believe that you are a credible candidate for the next role.
Absolutely. Devil's in the
Yeah,
details. Devil's in the details.
that was always in the
So
details.
and contexts. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any comments on our page now? Let me see.
No, so far that's it.
Okay, cool. Um, and one of the final thing actually is this: if you are not, if you don't know how to play the game, a lot of times you may not get a promotion. And suddenly now the theme song for Game of Thrones is coming to my
Oh
head.
no. Oh no.
You need to know how to play the game because sometimes it is the Game of Thrones, and it's funny because like what Cersei Lannister says, right? You either play the game or you die. You win or you die.
Well,
Sometimes
it's not that vicious. So
that's a bit,
just tone down the drama a little bit, Adrian. Tone it down. Tone
Mhm.
it down. But it is a game, indeed, like you said. It is about making sure that you take the credit for the work that you did and not
Mhm.
get it stolen by someone else.
Mhm.
It's about ensuring that you get the plum project. So it's a game, and the only time you lose is when you quit. So don't
Yeah.
stop playing. It's a long game, like our
Yeah, but
favorite
do you realize?
author.
Do you realize that some people are natural at it?
Yes, yes.
Some
Some
are
people
natural at
just
it.
have
That
the
flair,
those
right?
that have the affinity, an
Yeah.
affinity for understanding interactions and dynamics. Then
Yeah.
yeah, we know these ones. I mean, in school they are known as the inner circle, the inner
Yeah.
crowd, the
Yeah.
cool kids.
Yeah.
They 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 gravitate towards that sort of core group, and the rest of us have to learn how to play it.
And these are the guys who normally end up as VP, CEOs, and it's interesting because those guys play natural. They're just natural players. Like if you look at Serena and Williams and all those, they are just natural at the game, and they just
But they
practice and they
work at
play.
it.
But they
But they
work at
work
it.
at it as well.
But they
So you
work at
have to
it.
be good at what you do. So
Yeah.
for item number 5,
Mhm.
the point that we're trying to make is this: the assumption here is that you are already very good at your work. You're hitting and exceeding all of your KPIs, but you're not getting that promotion. Why? That's because item number 5. Okay, so there's something else here that's going on that
Mhm.
you're not aware of, and perhaps you bet on the wrong horse.
Oh yeah, that's happened. That has happened.
That has happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
and sometimes when your sponsor or your champion or your sponsor retires
Moves on. Yeah.
or gets assassinated, and suddenly it's like
Ouch.
you're left there standing on. It's like, oh, this guy, isn't he the protege of that sponsor who just got
Yes.
assassinated? It's like, oh,
Yeah. So
uh-oh,
you
time.
belong to the other team. So if you're
Yeah,
on the wrong team, there's no such thing as neutrality. Just saying.
yeah. There is,
Yeah.
there is. At the higher you go, I mean, if you're at the normal levels, I think it's okay to be neutral. But that's why
Again, a
it's
caveat. Caveat here is that we're just speaking in general terms. Please don't shoot us.
Well, it's a game. You see, it's a game, and that's why we want you to understand that if you don't know the rules, you're not going to win it. And even as you're playing it, the rules change, and that's the nature of the infinite game. If you're interested in what the infinite game is, there's a good book by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game, and we have a back episode about your career as the infinite game, so you can always trace back to look at that. But you're right, yeah. You only quit. You only lose when you quit. So you got to keep playing, and you need to know how to play it. Otherwise, you're gonna keep losing.
The thing is, when you said as you play, the rules change, I'm thinking Calvin and Hobbes. I know I'm aging
Oh, I
myself, but look for Calvin and Hobbes and how they play games, because they make the rules up as they go, and it's one of my favorite comic series, Calvin and
Kelvin.
Hobbes. It's a little boy and his little tiger. Yes. Anyway. Yes.
Is
So
the
the
tiger
rules change as
imaginary
you
or
go.
Is
I
it
have
Tiger
no idea.
Imaginary or no idea? I can't remember because I was never a Calvin and Hobbes fan.
Love the comic series.
No.
Anyway, very
Anyway.
philosophical. Yeah. So don't give up.
Mhm.
In fact, perhaps you should be the one making the rules. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Yeah,
Why
that's right.
not?
Yeah, that's how I started Career Agility International as well, see, because I was sick and tired of the rules that the corporate world was. I had to play by the corporate rules, and enough was enough. That's why I
Yes.
started, and take yourself out and start your own game, and that's why you need a career strategy, and if you are looking at getting promoted, okay, you must understand how senior management thinks. What's like promotion criteria? Who's the decision makers? Who are the decision makers' bosses? Who are the influencers? Who are the champions? Who are the sponsors? Things like this. That's why you actually need a very strong strategy. You need a game plan, and that's why we always say, "Come talk to us." If you're looking at getting promoted, making more money, getting more exciting roles coming up, make a game plan. Come talk to us.
And for this specific, what you're trying to say here is also very it's difficult the more senior you are. The game is very different and a lot more complex,
Yeah,
higher up the food chain. So
more
you
layered,
should
more moving
come
parts.
talk to us about that, because that's where we made, I think, our biggest impact is
Mhm.
when things are very, very complex, because
Yeah,
it requires a lot of deep diving and a lot of contextualizing.
yeah. So come talk to us. Once again, our email is info@careeragility.org. Always happy to exchange ideas with you. We have our team on standby right now to answer any questions you might have. So,
Yep.
once again, come talk to us. We have various programs ready. We have our career partner program where we sit down with you and we craft out, we understand what exactly you need, because no one's needs are the same. They're all different. You
Yep.
may be looking at accelerating your career, but you might be looking for a new job. Or you might be looking for a new job that accelerates your career, see, or you just might be confused where do you want to go next.
Yep. So for
So,
the bulk of our clients are usually at some kind of crossroad at this
mhm,
stage, and
mhm.
if they require, they just it's. I'm not saying that you don't know how to manage your career. What we're trying to say is that when you're in the middle of it, sometimes it's just nice to have someone to talk
Yeah.
to so that you can make sense of everything.
Yeah. And one of the things I like, I was asked the other day what exactly we do. And, at Career Agility, what we do is we help you find your solutions in a shorter period of time. So your stressful period is compressed, and in a less stressful way. So the dip is a lot less. So that's what we do. We are here to help, and we do care for your career. And if you want to have a look at the magic that we've done, if you pop into my LinkedIn page and you look at the references and the comments, you're going to see that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. We have a very strong alumni, more than 400 clients who have come through, and we're happy to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I'm just
So,
think, I'm very proud of us, but at the same time, you can tell that I am the modest one. So when you were going through all that, I was kind of like, okay, cringe.
okay, yeah, no, we are, but we love what we do and we want to
Yes, we
help.
do.
So,
Yeah,
if you have any questions, just reach out to us.
yeah.
Um, I think we do have a piece of very good news though for to share with everybody. Our book, the Career Paradox, the Great Career Paradox, is going to be launched in this month actually. So it's coming up
Yes.
in all good bookshops. The Great Career Paradox is written by Yen and myself. It's published by Penguin Random House, and it's going to go for international distribution in the next couple of months. But Singapore is going to be the first place we're going to launch it. It's going to be available at all good bookshops. The career paradox is an interesting concept that Yin and I came across when we were talking to a lot of clients, and it asked the question, why is it some people who seem to have very successful careers, they're not happy? And the harder they strive to seek their career happiness, the more personally unhappy they become. So what was the reason, and how do you overcome it? And that's what the book is all about.
Yeah. And on top of that, it is also about how perhaps if you manage your career a little bit better, the other pieces of your life can also be managed a lot better, because they're all kind of interrelated. But it's
Mhm.
not about zero sum game, one or the other. We're not insisting on that. That's why it's a paradox. And I think the date is on the 13th, if I'm not wrong, for books to be available. But again, we're not sure.
Yeah, but you can
Weeks time.
pre-order. You can pre-order at this link downstairs. Okay, the careerparadox.com. If you click in pre-order, we'll send you a signed copy from Ian and myself, and it's gonna be delivered to you at your wherever you're staying. So that's a great chance for you to pre-order the book and learn all about how do you overcome the great career paradox, and how do you achieve the career success that matters truly to yourself. Okay,
It's all about satisfaction,
it's all
career
about
satisfaction.
I can get no
Like, it's
satisfaction.
so easy, right? But it's
Like,
not.
it's so easy, right?
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
once
happy Friday,
again,
everyone.
every Friday we come to the end of the show, and once again, if you have any questions that you want to ask us, we're always here for you. And the not long weekend. The next weekend is gonna be October 20th. That's where a long weekend's gonna be. But we always say that take a weekend off, spend time with your loved ones, recharge and refocus. And we are moving into the fourth quarter already. After September,
Yep.
it's so fast, right? Start thinking what's your plans for 2023, and if
Yeah.
you, it's not very far away, is it?
It is so far and yet so near. That's another paradox right there.
So
You
far
know
yet
what?
so
Yeah,
near.
it's so far yet so near. So
Yeah.
it's never too early to plan. So
Yeah.
if you think about it, if you put your energy into your intentions, you can manifest.
Yeah.
Manifest your goals.
Manifest. So
Yes.
okay, cool.
But
Have a
happy
great
Friday.
weekend ahead. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead, and drop us a mail if you need to have any good career advice. Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.